Alrighty, in this video, we're going to do properties of matter. That sounds like a lot of stuff, but we're just going to get terminology under our belt so that we know what we're talking about. You can always come back and reference this later because we'll use these terms a lot throughout the semester. Um, there are terms we use for the amount of stuff, not really amount of stuff, for how the property depends on the amount of stuff. There we go. Okay. These are extensive and intensive. Extensive stuff is going to depend on the amount of matter that's there. This is like mass, volume, heat, energy, um, those kind of stuff. So it should make sense if you have twice as much stuff, it's going to have twice as much mass and twice as much volume and take twice as much heat and contain twice as much energy. So hopefully that makes a little sense. Um, Intensive is going to be the opposite of that. These are a little bit weirder to think about, maybe, but they kind of make sense. These are things like these are independent of the amount of stuff. So it doesn't matter how much is there, it's just uh, a property of the matter. So this is temperature, density, reduction potential, which we're not going to talk about this semester. All right, you can think of it this way. The boiling point of water is always the same no matter how much water is there. You have three water molecules, you have 3 gallons of water. It still boils at 100 degrees C, roughly, right? The density is the ratio of two different things, so it's always going to be the same uh, value no matter how much stuff is actually there. Okay. Cool. Um, and the other way of thinking of things is as either being physical or chemical. So physical things, this all depends on the identity of the substance. So can you observe it or measure it without changing the identity of stuff? That's physical. So this is color, temperature, uh, luster, right? Luster is it shiny? Is it dull? Uh, Size and shape, mass, volume. Okay. All of those things you can measure without changing the identity. Okay. The flip side of this is chemical properties, and chemical properties involve a change of identity. So this is doing a reaction. These are the fun chemistry words, right? Uh, Flammable, corrosive, explosive, uh, reactive, oxidizing, right? Here we're doing a chemical reaction. These all involve some sort of reaction. There's a change in the identity, right? You can't say hydrogen is flammable uh, without burning the hydrogen and turning it into water. So that's what we're getting at. And along with these things of saying it's a chemical property or a physical property, we can have changes in these things, right? So a physical change is something that changes a physical property, but uh, right, so it changes, but the identity of the stuff is still there. So boiling the water, it goes from a liquid to a gas, but it's still water, right? If you take a piece of paper and tear it up into little pieces, it's a different size and shape, but it's still paper. Okay. So that would be a change that doesn't change the identity. Okay. Physical changes. Chemical changes do change the identity. So this is when you do the reaction is a chemical change. So when something explodes, it had a chemical change. Okay. So those are things we want to get at. Extensive and intensive, chemical and physical, and chemical physical property, chemical physical change. Um, Hopefully that makes sense. Extensive and intensive is a little bit weird, but if you need me, I'm here. Shoot me an email. I'll see you in class.